The excavation site was eerily quiet, save for the occasional hum of alien machinery slicing through the dust-laden air. Alien archaeologists, with their multi-jointed limbs and iridescent scales, bustled about the site with a sense of detached amusement. Their laughter echoed off the barren rock walls, mingling with the distant drone of a starship hovering above. Alex Carter stood apart, his focus fixed on a line of ancient statues partially buried in the desert sands. The statues, crafted in the likeness of human warriors, were imposing despite their weathered state. Each figure was frozen in a pose of vigilance, their stone eyes seemingly lifeless. Alex's brow furrowed as he brushed sand from one statue's face, his heart racing with a mixture of anticipation and frustration. Honestly, Carter, Zara, an alien historian with gleaming, bioluminescent eyes, sneered as she approached. These relics are little more than curiosities. Primitive, outdated. Hardly worth our time. Alex shot her a pointed look. You may not see their value, Zara, but there's something about these statues, something important. Zara scoffed, her voice laced with derision. Important? They're just remnants of a bygone era. The real history lies elsewhere. She turned away, her sleek, silver-scaled form gliding gracefully over the uneven terrain. Alex's fingers traced the intricate carvings on the statue's chest plate. The patterns, although weathered, spoke of a civilization that once valued honor and strength. He could feel a faint, unsettling vibration beneath his fingertips, a resonance that seemed out of place for such ancient relics. He glanced at the alien team, still engrossed in their excavation of more recent artifacts, their laughter periodically cutting through the air. Alex took a deep breath, determination settling over him like a heavy cloak. He pulled a small, holographic scanner from his bag and began to scan the statues, his eyes narrowing in concentration as the device emitted a soft, pulsating glow. The scanner beeped erratically. Alex's eyes widened as the stone eyes of the statues seemed to flicker, their darkened pupils reflecting a faint, greenish light. The statues began to hum with an almost imperceptible energy, and the laughter from the aliens ceased abruptly, replaced by a tense silence. Zara! Alex called out, his voice strained with urgency. You need to see this. Zara's head turned slowly, her gaze drifting toward Alex with a mix of curiosity and skepticism. She approached, her expression shifting from dismissive to concerned as she noticed the statue's sudden change. The once still figures now radiated an unsettling energy, their stone forms shimmering with an ethereal light. What in the galaxy? Zara's voice trailed off as the statues began to move, their limbs shifting with a slow, deliberate grace. The once mocked relics were awakening. Alex's heart pounded as the statues' eyes locked onto him, their gaze sharp and purposeful. I knew there was more to these statues. They're not just relics, there's something far more significant. The alien archaeologists, now visibly agitated, backed away from the statues, their earlier bravado replaced by a tense apprehension. Zara's face paled as she witnessed the once dormant figures stirring to life, their ancient mechanisms engaging with an eerie precision. The statue's low, mechanical hum grew louder, resonating through the excavation site. Alex's pulse quickened as he realized the gravity of the situation. The statues were not just artifacts, they were guardians, and they were awakening. In the midst of the chaos, Zara's eyes met Alex's, a flicker of realization dawning in her expression. Perhaps, she said, her voice barely above a whisper, these statues are not as insignificant as I thought. Alex nodded, his gaze fixed on the statues as they began to assume defensive stances. The laughter of the aliens had turned to murmurs of alarm, the once derisive tone replaced by a growing fear. The statues were not just relics, they were a legacy of humanity's forgotten power, now stirring to defend their ancient secrets. The tension in the air was palpable as Alex and Zara watched the statues come to life, their purpose unfolding before them. The excavation site, once a scene of mockery and dismissiveness, had transformed into a battleground of ancient honor and modern arrogance. The rising tide. The once serene excavation site now pulsed with an uneasy energy. The statues, towering and vigilant, stood in their newly awakened states, their mechanical movements stirring the dusty ground. Alex Carter watched in tense silence as Zara and the alien team scrambled to comprehend the unexpected turn of events. Zara's normally composed demeanor had evaporated, replaced by a look of alarm. Her bioluminescent eyes flickered erratically as she attempted to recalibrate her handheld scanner, which was emitting frantic beeps in response to the statue's rising energy. "This is impossible," Zara muttered, her voice edged with disbelief. Alex's gaze remained fixed on the statues. Their stone forms, once still and indifferent, now radiated a soft, greenish glow. Each movement was precise and deliberate, the statue's defensive mechanisms activating with an almost conscious intent. Alex knew that this was more than just a coincidence. These statues were responding to something significant. "Zara, we need to figure out what's happening," Alex said, his voice steady despite the chaos unfolding around him. "These statues are clearly programmed with some form of intelligence. We need to understand their purpose before things get worse." Zara shot him a sharp look, but there was a hint of reluctant agreement in her eyes. "Fine. But we're working on borrowed time here. I'll need your help to decipher the statue's activation sequence." Alex nodded, his expression determined. He moved closer to one of the statues, carefully examining its intricate carvings and the now visible glyphs that seemed to pulsate with an inner light. The glyphs formed patterns that resonated with the low hum emanating from the statues, creating an almost hypnotic rhythm. As Zara worked on recalibrating her scanner, Alex began to take detailed notes on the glyphs, his mind racing through his knowledge of ancient human languages. He noted how the carvings seemed to form a protective barrier, their purpose shifting from mere decoration to a high-tech security system. A sudden, sharp burst of static from Zara's scanner broke the silence. "I'm picking up a signal," she said, her voice laced with both excitement and apprehension. "It's unlike anything I've ever encountered." The signal's interference caused the statues to react more vigorously. Their eyes glowed brighter, and the energy field around them intensified, sending waves of warmth and static through the air. The alien team, now visibly nervous, huddled in the distance, their earlier mockery replaced by genuine fear. "What does the signal indicate?" Alex asked, trying to keep his focus on Zara despite the growing tumult. "I'm not entirely sure," Zara admitted, her frustration evident. "But it's definitely sending a message, and it's coming from the central statue." She gestured toward the largest of the statues, its form more imposing and detailed than the others. Alex's gaze followed Zara's pointing finger. The central statue had begun to move with a deliberate, almost rhythmic precision. Its movements were more fluid, as though it was preparing for a specific function. Alex felt a shiver run down his spine. This was no ordinary mechanism. As the central statue's eyes flared with an intense green light, the energy field expanded, creating a protective barrier around it. Zara and Alex were forced to step back, the increasing heat and pressure palpable. The barrier pulsed with an almost living energy, its rhythm synchronized with the statue's movements. "We need to find a way to communicate with it," Alex said, his voice raised over the growing hum. "There's a message here, and it's crucial that we understand it." Zara nodded, her expression resolute. "I'll attempt to interface with the signal directly. Be ready for anything." Alex positioned himself strategically, ready to support Zara as she initiated a sequence on her scanner to decode the signal. The tension was palpable as the statue's protective barrier seemed to tighten, almost as though it was gauging their intentions. The central statue's energy field pulsed with increasing intensity, and Alex could see patterns forming in the air, weaving an intricate tapestry of light and shadow. The glyphs he had observed earlier seemed to glow more brightly, revealing an underlying message that was becoming clearer by the second. Zara's scanner emitted a high-pitched tone, signaling a breakthrough. "I'm getting something," she said, her voice filled with both relief and anxiety. "The statues are trying to convey information, something about humanity's legacy and a warning." As Zara worked to translate the message, the statue's barrier began to dissipate, the energy field retracting as the central statue's movements slowed. The immediate danger had subsided, but the mystery remained. Alex's heart pounded with anticipation. The statues had revealed their capacity to defend and communicate, but their full message was yet to be understood. The encounter had left them with more questions than answers, and the importance of the statue's hidden legacy was becoming increasingly evident. As the dust settled and the alien team emerged from their hiding places, the gravity of their discovery began to sink in. Zara and Alex stood together, their focus fixed on the now quiet statues, their minds racing with the implications of their findings. "We have a lot to unravel," Zara said, her voice softer now, tinged with awe. "But this is only the beginning." Alex nodded, his eyes never leaving the statues. "We need to proceed carefully. Whatever message these statues hold, it's clear that humanity's past is far more significant than we imagined." With a renewed sense of purpose, Alex and Zara prepared to delve deeper into the secrets of the ancient statues, aware that their journey had only just begun. The excavation site had transformed into a battleground of revelations. Dust hung thick in the air, tinged with the metallic scent of old mechanisms. Alex, Carter, and Zara stood amid the chaos, their senses on high alert as the statue's defensive mechanisms recalibrated, their pulses now synchronized with the ancient signals Zara had decoded. The once erratic energy field had stabilized, forming a shimmering shield around the central statue. Its intricate glyphs, now fully illuminated, cast shifting patterns of light and shadow on the ground. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation and the low hum of ancient technology. The alien team, visibly shaken, had retreated to the perimeter, leaving Alex and Zara at the heart of the unfolding mystery. "We've barely scratched the surface," Zara said, her voice tight with a mix of excitement and anxiety. She adjusted her scanner, trying to interpret the intricate glyphs more clearly. "The message is more complex than I anticipated. It speaks of a legacy of the Watchers." Alex's eyes were fixed on the central statue. "The term Watcher suggests a protective role. These statues were designed to guard something of immense importance." His mind raced as he considered the implications. Humanity's past, which had been dismissed as insignificant, was suddenly at the center of a cosmic mystery. "According to the translation," Zara continued, her fingers dancing over her device, "the legacy refers to an ancient archive, some kind of repository of human knowledge and achievements. It's supposed to be hidden somewhere within the excavation site." Alex's pulse quickened. "A hidden archive? That would explain why the statues are so defensive. They're not just relics, they're guardians." Zara nodded, her expression serious. "Exactly. But the message is fragmented. We need to find the rest of it to fully understand what's at stake." The central statue's eyes glowed brightly, and a low, resonant tone filled the air. The vibrations traveled through the ground, creating ripples that seemed to resonate with Alex's very bones. He glanced around the site, looking for any signs that might lead them to the hidden archive. "Let's split up," Alex suggested. "We need to cover more ground. Look for any clues or hidden compartments that could be linked to the statues." Zara agreed, though her eyes reflected a mix of hesitation and determination. "Be careful. We don't fully understand the statue's capabilities. If they perceive us as a threat, they might become hostile again." With a nod, Alex moved toward the western edge of the site, where the sand appeared slightly disturbed, as though it had been recently shifted. His flashlight cut through the murky twilight, revealing patterns etched into the stone. He crouched and brushed away the sand, revealing a faintly glowing panel embedded in the rock. The panel was covered in unfamiliar symbols, their glowing lines pulsating in a slow, rhythmic pattern. Alex activated his portable scanner, which hummed softly as it analyzed the symbols. The scanner beeped in a steady rhythm, and a holographic image projected from its surface. It displayed a map of the site with several marked locations. Alex's eyes widened as he recognized one of the locations marked on the map. It was directly beneath the central statue. "Of course," he muttered to himself. "The archive must be located directly beneath the Guardian." As he pondered this new revelation, a sharp, metallic clang echoed from the southern end of the site. Alex's heart raced as he rushed toward the noise, the air growing colder and heavier with each step. Reaching the source of the sound, he found Zara struggling with a concealed hatch partially obscured by debris. "Zara!" Alex called out, his voice strained with urgency. I think I've found something important. The archive might be directly beneath us. Zara looked up, her face streaked with dirt but her eyes alight with resolve. I'm almost through, she said, her tone firm despite her exhaustion. This hatch could be the key to accessing the archive. With a final effort, Zara pried the hatch open, revealing a narrow passage leading downward. A faint, golden light flickered from within, casting eerie shadows on the walls of the shaft. Alex and Zara exchanged a determined glance. This is it, Alex said, his voice steady. We're about to uncover humanity's hidden legacy. Descending into the passage, they were enveloped in a golden glow that illuminated the walls with ancient inscriptions. The air was cool and musty, filled with the scent of old parchment and metal. The passage opened into a vast chamber, its walls lined with ancient scrolls and illuminated by a central, pulsing crystal. As they approached the crystal, its light intensified, and a deep, resonant voice echoed through the chamber. Welcome, seekers of knowledge. You have proven worthy of the legacy of the Watchers. Alex and Zara stood in awe as the crystal's light revealed a holographic projection of humanity's greatest achievements, an archive of advanced technologies, cultural artifacts, and historical records. The chamber was filled with the echoes of humanity's past, now accessible for the first time in eons. The tension of their journey melted away, replaced by a profound sense of discovery. The legacy was not merely a relic. It was a testament to humanity's enduring impact on the universe. Looks like our work here is far from over, Zara said, her voice a mix of relief and excitement. Alex nodded, a determined smile on his face. We've uncovered something monumental. Now we need to ensure it's protected and shared with the world. As the light from the central crystal illuminated their faces, Alex and Zara prepared to delve into the depths of humanity's hidden legacy, aware that their discovery would reshape their understanding of history and the universe itself. The chamber's golden light bathed Alex Carter and Zara in an ethereal glow as they stood in awe before the central crystal. The projection it emitted painted a vibrant tapestry of humanity's achievements, an overwhelming panorama of technology, art, and history that defied the boundaries of time. This is incredible, Zara whispered, her voice filled with reverence as she approached the holographic display. The images flickered and shifted, displaying advanced machinery and ancient texts that told stories of human innovation and resilience. Alex moved closer to the central crystal, his eyes scanning the intricate details of the projection. We need to catalog this information, he said, his tone determined. Every piece of technology, every historical record, it all has to be preserved. Zara nodded, pulling out a portable data collector. I'll start compiling the data. But we need to be careful. This archive is of immense value, and its protection must be our priority. Just as Zara began the data collection process, a sudden tremor shook the chamber. The walls vibrated ominously, and a deep, rumbling sound echoed through the space. The projection flickered, distorting the images and plunging the room into brief darkness. What's happening? Alex asked, his voice tight with concern. I don't know, Zara replied, her eyes darting around as she tried to stabilize the data collector. But it looks like the activation of the archive might have triggered some sort of defense mechanism. The chamber's temperature dropped abruptly, and a cold, metallic smell filled the air. The statues surrounding the central crystal began to move, their previously dormant forms coming to life with an unsettling fluidity. Their eyes glowed fiercely, and their stone bodies shifted into defensive positions. Alex took a step back, his hand instinctively reaching for a protective device strapped to his belt. We need to get out of here. The statues are reacting, and we don't know what they're capable of. Zara's face was a mask of determination as she worked furiously to finish her data collection. We can't leave without securing this information. It's crucial for understanding humanity's past and future. Another tremor rocked the chamber, and the statue's eyes blazed with a fierce green light. The central crystal's projection shifted, displaying a new set of glyphs, symbols of warnings and instructions. Alex deciphered them quickly. They're telling us to leave or face dire consequences, Alex said, his voice urgent. The statues are guardians of the archive, and their primary function is to protect it from unauthorized access. Zara finished the data collection just as the statues began to close in on their position. I'm done, she said, her voice strained but resolute. Let's go. We need to find a way out before things get worse. Alex and Zara made their way back to the passage, the statue's movements growing more aggressive with each step. The protective barrier around the central crystal pulsed violently, its energy field expanding and contracting in sync with the statue's actions. As they neared the exit, a sudden blast of energy surged from the statues, narrowly missing them. The force of the blast sent a shower of debris cascading down the passageway, blocking their path. The chamber's lights dimmed, and a low, menacing growl filled the air. This way! Alex shouted, pointing to a narrow side passage revealed by the debris. We can use this to bypass the obstruction. They dashed into the side passage, their breaths coming in quick, ragged gasps. The passage was cramped and winding, the walls slick with moisture and the air thick with the scent of old earth and decay. As they navigated the labyrinthine corridor, Alex glanced over his shoulder to see the statue's eyes flashing through the gaps in the debris. We're being pursued, he said, his voice tense. We need to keep moving. Zara, struggling to keep pace, glanced at Alex with a mix of fear and resolve. The archive must be protected at all costs, she said. We've uncovered something too important to let it be lost or destroyed. The passage finally opened into a larger chamber, its ceiling partially collapsed. Rays of sunlight filtered through the cracks, illuminating a narrow exit leading to the surface. Alex and Zara sprinted toward the exit, their pace fueled by adrenaline. As they neared the surface, the rumbling behind them intensified. The statues, relentless in their pursuit, were closing in. Alex could hear the distant echoes of their mechanical footsteps, each one a reminder of the danger they faced. Bursting out into the daylight, Alex and Zara emerged onto the excavation site, their faces flushed and their bodies covered in dust. The alien team, still regrouping, looked up in shock as they saw the frantic expressions on Alex and Zara's faces. Get everyone back! Alex shouted, his voice carrying over the commotion. We're under attack! The alien team scrambled to respond, their earlier skepticism replaced by urgency. As Alex and Zara made their way to safety, the statue's energy field became visible in the distance, its green glow a stark reminder of the powerful guardians they had just narrowly escaped. As the excavation team retreated to a secure location, Alex and Zara exchanged a weary but determined glance. We've survived the guardians, Alex said, his voice heavy with the weight of their narrow escape. But the real challenge lies ahead. We need to ensure the archive's safety and decipher its full message. Zara nodded, her expression resolute. We've uncovered a treasure trove of knowledge. Now we must protect it and reveal its secrets to the world. As the sun set over the excavation site, casting long shadows over the ancient statues, Alex and Zara prepared for the next phase of their journey. The legacy of the Watchers had been revealed, but its full impact on humanity's future remained a mystery they were determined to unravel.